How's it going, YouTube? Sonic here, and back for another BBTAG podcast. Now, we tried to fit this in last time, but there was a lot of shit going on in my end of the time. It got kind of loud, so we unfortunately had to scrap that.
Yeah, we still be talking about the mechanics of the game.
Well, last time we talked about this game's specific mechanics. Let's talk series exclusive mechanics next.
Yeah.
And really, what better way to start than going over BlazBlue itself? Kind of fitting that we got Jin and 9 in double randoms.
Yeah.
Fair warning, this is going to be the only time I actually put Jin on point just to show this.
It's kind of like characters exclusive, like BlazBlue.
Like, each series... Yeah, exactly, I was about to say. In BlazBlue's case, each character has their own unique drive. In the case of Noelle, you may know it in BBTAG as our B series, because some characters have their drives tied to their Bs, and some have them as passives. I'm pretty sure Jin's is a case of being a passive drive.
Yeah. And Persona.
Well, we'll talk about Persona momentarily, because there's something about 9 I want to mention. 9's drive is kind of meter belt. By doing elemental attacks, without using EX meter, mind you, by doing elemental based attacks, you will actually gain a magic meter, which will change up which attack she uses. 236A would be a good idea right now. 236A. And that's completely different from how she would do it now. Like, do it one more time. Yeah, it was a completely different move. So, yeah, 9's drive is built on a meter mechanic, and it's pretty interesting overall. Jin's, on the other hand, is more of a passive. Now, with Persona characters, theirs are actually a little more interesting. They have Persona normals, which doesn't link to them. So Kanji can do 5B, 5B into 5A. And straight into 5A, it's a block string. Meanwhile, characters like Mitsuru have different Persona normals. But more importantly, there's something else that we need to mention. Throw out that 5B again for a second. One more time. Notice how he took a little extra damage even though Kanji himself didn't flinch? That's another mechanic with the Persona characters. Persona breaks. In the actual source game, you could hit the Persona and it would break one of the cards that each character would have. Once all their cards were broken, you would enter a Persona break, which means you'd be royally screwed if that happened. But yeah, Persona characters have to be a little careful when it comes to careless use of their normals. In this game, however, Persona Break, as you saw, only does, like, recoverable damage. So, in general, they can be a lot more aggressive in this game than in their home game. Okay, good. I have enough of a level to do it.
For Persona?
No, for the combo. Shit! I jumped by accident. What? No, I think it was just like right within reach. Yeah, I jumped by accident there. Rip me.
Yeah, I mean, we
Well, kind of. There is still one more BlazBlue side of things we do have to cover, and that's drives tied to B.
Yeah.
Because there are some drives in this game that are tied to a character's B button. There are two very infamous examples of this. Noelle and Hazama, and I think New is another one.
So let me just get my Hazama out.
You're about to horribly disappoint somebody.
Yes, I am. Farmers, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry.
I was about to say Mongola, and I thought you were bringing out New. But yeah, Noelle's drive in this is mapped to her B, and she's become one of the most infamous characters in the game for this as a noob spammy character because of that alone.
Are you talking about her intro B?
Her B series in general is her drive. You took the only color that exists for Noelle. You took the only color that Noelle ever needs. Her default.
Right about that. That's the reason why people say do all damage. That's it. Ah! Oh, I'm sorry.
That's especially hurtful given who he just said it to. You dissed the cinnamon roll. How dare you? I knew you were an asshole, Jim, but I didn't think you were that much of an asshole. No, he just turns into a bigger douchebag every frickin' day. But yeah, we just discussed like pretty much like the major series exclusive mechanics for BlazBlue and Persona. Next up, we're going to be talking about probably the most interesting one, which is Under Night. But we're going to do that after a quick refresh. So I will actually get out Lene and Hyde just to show some of the things he can do. So with that, I'll be right back after a quick refresh. One moment, please. Alright, time to discuss Under Night's mechanic because it is by far the most interesting, but depending on who you talk to, it's also the most broken. No, the Under Night mechanic in general. Hyde just has stupid assists. Under Night's mechanic itself is arguably broken depending on who you talk to. The concept of reverse beat. For those who don't know, the Under Night characters can do one thing that no other series can. Chaining any normal in any order they want, completely ignoring the magic sequence. They can only use a normal once per chain, however. So if you go 5A, 5A, and then you go into 2C, you can't do another 5A. But you can go 2C, 5B, 2B, 5A if that would work, or something like that. That's not reverse beat. This is reverse beat. Yeah, that opens up a lot of combo freedom, but it also makes pressure stupidly retarded. as it can make a lot of things that would normally be unsafe on block, safe on block. Because it's Gordeau. But just to talk about this for a second, just to explain what I mean by making pressure safe with the other Knight characters, if I do a 5B and it's on block, you're supposed to rapid mash that to punish it. Block that, you fool. Block and then punish it. It was unsafe, because I was holding down and back. However, if I reverse beat it, it's safe. This allows the Under Knight characters to do a lot of pressure that would normally be impossible. We're literally just doing this to explain the mechanic. But yeah, reverse beat does two things that arguably makes it broken depending on who you talk to. It opens up a lot of combo freedom, and on top of that, it opens up a lot of pressure options by making things that are normally unsafe, safe.
It's also basically for 6P you cannot do
those are assists, you fool. We're talking like the actual offensive mechanic.
Yeah, it has offensive
This is an Under Knight exclusive thing. Reverse beat is really stupid depending on who you talk to. This can open up a lot of really stupid routes. And it also opens up one of my favorite corner combo routes with Hyde. Well, a more fancy version of it. Now, actually, funny enough, when we tried to do this last time, we had one of the stupidest outtakes. Don't spoil anything, please. Which you're going to actually be seeing after I get this pulled off. And this is corner only, mind you. Now, if I can pull it off, that'd be nice. Intro. What are you doing? Alright, here we go. Shit. Switch. I said switch, not DP. There we go. Yeah, that's a corner only combo, and you have to go into A vacant shift at the end. The B one is just too slow. No, it's not going to be death. But yeah, that actually opens up one of my favorite Hyde corner combos, and it's really satisfying when she can pull it off. It's unnecessarily long, but it looks cool as shit anyway. But yeah, as you can tell, reverse beat opens up a lot of options. The main downside to the Under Knight characters is they don't gain as much meter as some of the other characters in the game. So that's like a minor setback, but when you compare it to what they can actually do, there is no Under Knight character in this game that is actually bad, purely because of how stupid reverse beat is. Like, it's actually disgusting.
It's disgusting, and oh my god, I wish it is also broken. Now on to the next one.
That's like the main ones that actually have their own mechanics. Now with RWBY, they actually incorporated each character to have their own unique gimmick. RWBY being like a minor exception because like she's your basic starter character, but Weiss, Blake, and Yang all have their own unique thing going for them. And we're going to be discussing that after a small refresh. But in the meantime, enjoy that outtake I was talking about. Right, enjoy. Alright, trying this again. What? 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 Do you have an explanation for what the fuck just happened? Hyde? I've lost contact with Hyde. Shit. Well, that's gonna be an outtake.
What the fuck just happened?
An outtake. Enough said. So, yeah, that happened. That was so bizarre that we had to keep that. Like, what the hell? Anyway, yeah, that's also another reason we had to scrap, because usually for me, when that happens once, it's going to happen multiple times in the span of like a few hours. So, there was no way we were going to be able to do that while keeping the connection stable.
No. Wait, did that happen? We were like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
Well, they couldn't hear you because I lost contact with you, but that's beside the point.
No, that was, like, really?
Like, my connection literally cut me off completely. It was a hard communication error, but anyway. One little thing that's actually kind of neat that I think we should have shown off a while ago.
Where's the glyphs, the whole shebang, and all that stuff?
No, the fact that all of Team RWBY has a proper intro.
Oh yeah, that.
And two of you look really awkward.
Okay, so it's pink along with pink. Oh god.
Now this is Mitsuru's theme, goddammit.
Okay.
Now, anyway, RWBY is your basic starter character, but her main sort of gimmick is her gun blast mix-ups. And you can press it multiple times in one sequence. Kind of similar to that of a Rekka when you think about it. No, you can literally just do the input once and then press the buttons. Similar to that of Rising Fire. Up to 3 times per landing. That's the thing. So 1, 2, and then 3 for another one. Each one doing its own unique variant. Weiss has probably the most creative one. Her glyphs. By doing a 2, 3, 6 and then holding it, including her C version, you place a bunch of glyphs that have different follow-ups. Well, you get a different follow-up for your input. Doing up an A near a glyph does the twisting, which is a cross-up overhead.
Yep. Yeah, also,
Up and B near a glyph is basically another version of Snowfall. That'd be the wrong one. Let's try that again. There we go.
there you go.
Now, up and C is actually her most useful. If I can actually do it near the glyph. Pirouette. That's a really good combo extender, and especially in the corner. Unfortunately, that's the main place you're going to be using her glyphs. Now with Blake, if you do a 2-2 input, which is double tap down, you get her different clones. Stone is basically a quick hit stop. Now Shadow's really interesting. If the opponent hits it, Blake becomes somewhat invisible, but not invincible, so keep that in mind. Now what's really cool is, when they added this in the patch, now she doesn't have to freaking have it detonated. It'll go off on its own over time. Now, if she does this with meter, if the opponent hits this or after a certain period of time, it will detonate. So this can create some nasty corner traps. Now, Yang's is pretty much the most prominent, because it's what she's pretty infamous for. Real quick though, I need to demonstrate something, or not. Yes! They implemented her semblance. And she can do so much damage off of it. It's really stupid. But what makes it even more ridiculous is the time freeze it adds. Shut it down. Wait, first of all, what just happened? But no, seriously, what the hell just happened? Just mute yourself for a second and take care of that. In the meantime, I am going to refresh since we demonstrated all of Team RWBY's major gimmicks. And in general, they are the most versatile in terms of gimmicks. It kind of makes me wonder, like, what they'd come up with if RWBY got its own fighting game. But that's beside the point. Anyway, gonna refresh now that we've discussed all of these. Alright, we've discussed every single series exclusive mechanic here. Now, I think it's best we just take this time before we get some proper games in to give our own personal thoughts.
Yeah.
The drive system as a whole was implemented pretty well and pretty unique in a sense. But I will say that it does kind of suffer from the fact that some characters clearly end up having more use out of their drive than others, or in some cases, it's actually vital to their game. So, somebody like Rachel or Tager. While this is more of a passive, but it's a useful passive. The Persona break system, in my opinion, is probably the weakest one.
Yeah, each drive has their own way of handling different situations, but at the same time, it also could be at a good advantage.
But yeah, the Persona break system, in my opinion, it's probably the weakest one. Just because, again, the fact that they take damage, and 3 of the Persona characters have only 14k health, which is the lowest health value in the game. You add that to the additional damage they can take, it doesn't mix.
Yeah, it never mixes. But at the same time,
It's recoverable health, mind you, but still. And not many characters can really take advantage of the fact that their Persona normals are not tied to them. So, the only one I can think of who can really do that is Narukami.
yeah, bring them out right now.
Nah, we're about to wrap this one up fairly soon just because we already discussed all the mechanics.
Yeah.
With the Under Night cast, I'll just say it straight up. Reverse beat is stupid.
It's retarded.
It's the fun kind of stupid, but it's also kind of busted for the purpose of this game. This alone makes no Under Night character bad whatsoever.
It's up to the point where it's also amazing and it's at the same time so fucking dumb.
Yeah, and if you look back at the video where I put in the tier list, you may notice for mine specifically, a majority, and I do mean a keyword, and a keyword here is a majority of the top ones, are Under Night characters. There's only a couple that are lower than an A+ tier or S tier on that list. As far as I'm aware, if I recall this right, I think it was Batista, Merkava, and Mika, and that was it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is either a high tier in the sense that, like, they're really strong and equal with most of the rest of the cast, or, in Gordeau's case, best in the game. Reverse beat is actually stupid.
Yeah, it's very stupid.
It's trying to make this work. Also, if you heard anything in the back there, pardon me.
It's cool.
But, yeah. With Team RWBY, in my opinion, they implemented all of their unique semblances really well. But, I'll say this again, in my opinion, Blake's clones are very limited in use because the only one that's really decent is the Stone. Just because her spacing is already so damn good that her clones rarely get any use.
Those clones are yet to be used if you can fights, but at the same time, once you do use them, it's
There are some situations where they can be useful, but not a lot of times.
yeah.
And Weiss's glyphs, they are way too situational. Yeah, her glyphs, the main problem is they're so restrictive in where you can place them. Because when you do a 236A and hold that, if you go to use 236A again, even if you don't hold it, that glyph vanishes. There's too many times where your glyphs will end up not having a use because of this, and their overall usefulness is extremely limited.
Oh my god, no, I don't want to say that, I don't want to say that name for the fucking DDD.
Oh, god damn it. Yeah, behind the scenes, we tried to do this earlier, but, Hyde here had to meme on me. Thanks. Oh my god. Anyway, with RWBY, like, let's just get into the fight since we have, like, already mentioned the two we aren't going to be showing off. With RWBY, her major gimmick of her speed, it can come in handy for a lot of stupidly good mix-ups, and it does open up some unique corner combos. It also gives her access to the most YOLO distortion in the game, fucking Pedal Burst. That thing is the definition of YOLO. Punishable, yes, but it's still YOLO.
Yellow distortion for the win. But at the same time,
Her speed was implemented well, but at the same time, what's actually unique is that she does have a running speed on par with Lene.
yeah. But at the same time, when she enters resonance, she does chip damage.
Everyone does chip damage in Resonance. What the fuck do you mean?
Not everybody.
Yes, everybody. What are you even talking about? Resonance causes chip damage. Are you freaking... Why do you think Toga is so retarded? I'm sorry, but that was like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. But as you can clearly see, the best of the four is Yang's semblance, just because of the sheer stupidity she gets with it. Yeah, that's gonna be the only game we really have time for this one, just because I'm at like almost 2 minutes in recording left that I can do in this one moment before refreshing, and I know we're not gonna be able to finish a match in time.
Yeah. Next time we'll be going over the teams that we wish they could work.
Yes, there's a lot of teams that, like, I really would love to play, but they're so fucking bad.
Like shit.
Oh god, we will discuss that next time, but I know for a fact you have yours as well.
Gotta run playing her again.
But yeah, next time we'll be discussing bad teams that we wish could actually work. So, yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm hyped.
Sonic here, and next time prepare to watch us suffer.
Yes. Watch us suffer in pain.
In more ways than one, but yeah, take it easy, everyone.